Alrighty guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. How are we? Hope we're all doing well. Apologies for the late start. I'm an absolute rabble at the moment, guys. Just have a few days away and all the settings completely changed on my streaming software, so been scrambling to get it already. So YouTube, no background filter for the camera today, so please excuse the mess in the background. Anyway, lucky I'm here. So welcome guys, welcome to you all, one and all. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another London session. As always, what we will do is take a look at the charts and do what we do best. Look for our options on both gold and GJ and any other pair for that matter that any of you might be interested in me taking a look at. Feel free to send those into the chat. Settings are still all over shop YouTube, apologies. Just on the fly with it, trying to fix it. But yeah, look at it here again. Once again, gold at all-time highs, just keeps on keeping on. Well, just buy it. That seems to be the sentiment on gold these days. Not saying buy it just now, guys. We will do the analysis to see what we can come up with moving forward. Also, we'll have a look at GJ as per usual and see what we could potentially get involved in on GJ, and any other pairs as per request. Guys, send those in, and also any questions as well, send those into the chat and I will get to you guys shortly. Let's just quickly take a look at the news to see what is happening here today, if there is any scheduled news. And nothing on the horizon for our session here today. Moving forward into MI session, some orange follow news. Also, that you got the president of the ECB speaking, so that could also impact obviously the euro against the US dollar. So just be a little bit wary of that, guys. Tomorrow seems to be the big day news wise across the board. So guys, let's start. YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. TikTok, if you could smash that screen for me. YouTube, if few of you can just send a few more messages just so I can I know that the chat is actually okay, because it was a real scramble to get everything up and running today. Just say g'day again, guys, if you could. And let's have a look at gold to begin. So as always, guys, let's start with that weekly time frame. And what we can see is on here on gold today, weekly, very strong bullish previous weekly, strong bullish current weekly, no lower wick. You guys who have been here for a while now know exactly what I feel about that. Doesn't necessarily need one. Everyone's going to be calling for it to come back down and fill that gap to create lower wick. I look at it on the other foot and I say, if it pulls back, what I'm going to be looking for is to see if the previous levels of support hold and look for potential buys upon those pullbacks. If we begin to break those levels of support, then we could potentially pull back a little bit deeper into that bullish candle. But we don't necessarily need to pull back to create that lower wick. Now onto the daily time frame. Thank you guys. I think it's okay by the looks of it. Yeah, all good, appreciate it. All right, so onto the daily. Structure wise, obviously bullish. What I'm going to do is, we're very far off it. Just going to mark in the current daily candles low, and we're also going to mark in the current daily candles high, which is obviously a new all-time high above it, 3,500 flat. We did tap into, wow, psychological round number. Been saying it for a long time. Gold is just going to continue, keep on keeping on. So still nothing yet to suggest that we could potentially exhaust. Onto the 4-hour time frame. Once again, I just don't see anything to suggest that there is any sells available against such a roaring uptrend. So the most recent support is 3,300. Fair distance off it. We're going to have some levels in between, obviously, on the 30-minute. Resistance, we don't have any data to the left hand side. Once again, we are at those all-time highs. Onto the 30. Now obviously we've just formed some minor support at the current level, so if we were to continue bullish, this could be one potential level that price will likely respect or could respect, or for us to push back up to retest the high, or at that point there we begin to pop above the current daily candles high, obviously weekly high at the same point, into new all-time high territory. I could look for some potential options for the buys, continuation buys, still in a big strong uptrend. Seeing the 3,500 flat level, I would preference a closure above, where it'd be on the 15, preferably to 30, but the 15 may suffice. closure above, retest and continuation. And the further option for me today is really just looking for that pullback and awaiting some support to form, whether it be back down to the lows here at 34.25, just above the daily candles low. That's a potential level to look for the option to buy it from. So once again, it will depend on waiting for support and right confirmation to do so, but obviously looking for the pullback, break the high low, and then look for a potential buy option. I mean, aside from that, look, I will give you guys the option, but I doubt I'm going to look for any sells. It's just in a roaring uptrend. My concern with the sells are that even if it did begin to pop below to support here, I'm looking at the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute, 15 would be pretty much the same. My concern would be that it's done what it basically has done pretty much every other time, which is just create a bit of a low, grab some liquidity from the downside, create that high low, and then it continues on its merry way to the upside. So be very, very, very careful trying to counter trend trade gold at the moment. I would just prefer to wait for a potential buy option, whether it be upon continuation above the high or upon confirmation to do so once we've had a bit of a pullback. Another potential pullback level could be that 34.45 sort of region. I'm actually might just adjust that up for the time being. Just want to incorporate the resistance here to the left hand side, so pretty much buys above that 34.45 sort of region. That is my personal opinion of gold. Make of that what you will. Make sure to smash that screen, TikTok, YouTube, hit the like button, and let's get on to let's have a look at GJ with just under 15 minutes until session open. So on to the weekly time frame. Previous weekly, I would call that strong bullish candles, close to its high. It's fairly strong body candle. So based off that, we're strong bullish. The weekly, as opposed to gold, has no upper wick, so let's just mark in the current weekly candles high. Obviously we're tapping into, once again, what is a very strong level of support on the higher time frame. Let's go down to the daily time frame. Just stuck in consolidation once again, basically respecting some support here to the left hand side. For the daily to suggest to me that we're ready to make perhaps a deeper pullback towards that 194, 195 sort of region. I'd really want it to start to pop above that 189.70. Would really like for a closure above there. That's for the longer term holds if you're just based off price action. However, structurally, we are technically bearish. Counter probabilities are technically bearish. Having said that, this is where again it becomes a little bit confusing, because we're tapping into support. Gonna make it pretty tricky to sell into that point. 4 hours, so we've pulled back into the 4 hour zone, which is good to see. So we can argue we've tapped into a level of previous liquidity that we could bounce off. Structure wise, again, you could look at it either way. I could, see people's argument that it's bullish. Personally, I consider it bearish at the moment. Doesn't really make much of a difference in terms of what direction I would be looking to trade. All I'm concerned is where we're at, and we're pretty much at the support on the 4 hour time frame. So I'm going to mark in most recent resistance. Let's see what we got on the 30, and that particular time frame is still technically bearish. Let me just look at it properly, zoom out. Yep, so still technically bearish from this big impulse from last Wednesday, in fact. All right, so bearish in structure on the M30. The catalyst to suggest we could make a deeper pullback would be the confirmation of the 30-minute structure flipping back bullish. At this point, that would not be confirmed until above 188.850. Doesn't mean I would not consider any buys prior to it, but at least that point there, we're starting to flip the structure back in our side off the 30-minute time frame after bouncing off the 4 hour level of support. However, basically right now some may be in some GJ buys based off the 30-minute. Did close strong bullish, broken above this resistance. If it did so, you probably would have got close to 10 pips, maybe not quite. So what I'm looking for just now on GJ, we've pretty much engulfing these bearish candles. I'd like to see maybe a little bit of a pullback within even the 15-minute time frame at the high low, and as we begin to pop above the resistance formed at the 4-hour support, preferably back above the support here at 188.10 as well, which was previous support here to the left, then I would look for a potential option to buy it. Because if you're not in it just now, for me, you're chasing it, so there's no point jumping in it just now. Just need to let it reset again. So I'll be looking for the pullback, let it form a little bit of minor resistance, maybe in the first 15 minutes to half an hour of London open, and then we'll wait to see if it pops above that resistance for a potential option to buy it back up. So be looking pretty much buys above the current support. Further options for me moving forward to GJ, let me just adjust this zone a little bit so it's a little bit neater. Further options, be looking to sell upon the pullback. Obviously we are bearish in structure, so if we pull back to create that lower high, got some minor zone here, zones at 188.50. even if we tapped into 188.20 to 30, which was previous support here to the left, basically what I'm looking for is rejection below the resistance and look for my potential catalyst to take a sell option. So that is currently what I've been looking at on a GJ. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. That's what I'm looking at. Again, hopefully that makes sense. A little bit rushed today, apologies guys, but nonetheless we are here and the record is intact. So let's see, focus could be gold, but I'm very hesitant to sell it in a big strong uptrend. All right, who have we got here today? Small crowd on both platforms, bit disappointing, but appreciate all you for joining. Franco, morning to you. Daniel, Lau, yeah, Franco, Bruno. Hope you had a good holiday, mate, and welcome back. To everyone on TikTok. Can't quite see all the names, but I appreciate you all for joining. Welcome. Make sure to follow if you're new to the stream. Sketchman's morning to you. So I trust we all had a good little holiday break. To be honest, I enjoyed it. It's always good to have a few days off the charts as well. Jay, g'day to you, welcome. Garubba, you looking for a buy sell on gold? I'm preferring the buys, mate. I'm really hesitant to sell in a massive strong uptrend. I will consider it. It needs to be a really strong closure below this support. Definitely nothing on impulse. Not considering anything on impulse. You need a strong confirmation, so you definitely need the closure below. So definitely need that. Definitely need a retest. And that would just be purely based off simple price action, nothing else, against what is a roaring uptrend. Again, it is fraught with danger. JXP is still going down. How long do you think it will go? XRP? Is it? Let me look. Well, the $2 region is a psychological round number, so that's one level that could pull back to. Obviously, aside from that, we've got the most recent level of liquidity here around that 175. So I'd say if those levels hold, it's currently at a resistance. It will obviously come down to the strength of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin needs a daily close here, pretty much above the zone that we're at. Around that 88.50, that point there, you'd be creating that higher high. You're actually flipping the daily structure back bullish. So based off that, if that was to be the case, then I see 90k as a real probable level, followed by 94 to back up to 100k. If that is the case, then I think XRP will also end up moving upwards. Obviously Ethereum, every single coin I'm interested in getting involved in just goes without me. But that's all good, that's all good. Am I using AU dollars? Yes, I am. Got some way to buy more. Nice one. Yeah, to be honest, I don't trade crypto. GJ is a good buy now. No, if you're not in it already, you're too late to the party, my friend. Like I mentioned, for me, there was a technical entry point at just here, 188.10 roughly. But I was not on the chart for that. I was not even home, to be honest. I just got home pretty much just before the closure, about 10 minutes before the closure of this candle. So I need for it to reset now, so I need it to pull back, create a bit of resistance, create that high low where it's above the resistance, and then I might have my option. I can't chase it just now. For me, that'd be absolutely FOMOing into it. Jay, all good, mate. No, I trade gold, predominantly spot gold and British pound versus the Japanese yen. I don't mind looking at the crypto, but I just don't personally trade it. And to have some interest in it. Again, I gotta be really careful what I say, because the TikTok ban hammer will be out to get me. Jay, I no idea. Could not tell you, to be honest. Not great fundamentals in that. Isn't XRP a challenger to the Swift banking system? That's what I thought it was. Just makes transactions clear a lot quicker and a lot cheaper to clear. Fees are a lot cheaper. Well, what I was aware, some major banks already utilize the XRP token. I could have sworn ANZ was one of them, which is one of our major local banks here. And New Zealand, obviously. FXM, if you wish to. For me, it's not. There's no confirmation to buy it just yet. I'm trying something on the side, also for myself, something I've been picking up a bit on, and to my team I might start implementing some trade calls based off it shortly. So we've got just under a minute until session open. Gold is still consolidating at the minute near the highs. FXM, do I go live every day? I do, mate. Obviously wasn't on for public holiday. yesterday, Easter Monday. NT Gold, goodbye to you. Goodbye to you, my friend. And if anyone, guys, don't be daft. If this guy, NT Gold MT5, tries to send you a DM, please don't be daft. Don't answer, just block him. Because there are a lot of people out to you know, look for the vulnerable on these sort of streams. Jay, you bought into, if you bought into ASX 200 on the weekend, you would have crashed, cashed in, not crashed in. Not sure, to be honest, mate. I never even look at it. It's not of interest to me. What is it? AU 200, isn't it? The ticker. Yeah, I don't know last time I looked at that, to be honest. It would have been probably maybe 5 years ago. All right, GJ, rejected towards the end. So this is what I meant by a bit of structure potentially forming just now, guys. We've got that resistance, potentially creating that pullback to create that higher low shortly. And then if that is to be the case, what we're going to be doing is looking for closures back up near this high, preferably above it. It may not need to close above it, as long as it closes close to it. That may suggest to us that at least we're breaking a bit of resistance, and if we were to break the resistance, then the next probable destination would be perhaps this support. So it could be enough to secure minor profits, and then potentially up to 188.50. So this is a bit better on GJ, what I'm seeing just now. Gold, there is absolutely nothing for me on gold just now. To my team, apologies, I'll send you guys a link. Had it sitting here. Got some GU analysis. Franco. Okay, let me quickly look at GU. Broken some minus spots on a 30. All right, interesting. I'm not sure, Franco, if you're already in a GU trade. Your chart looks quite clean. Let me quickly look at it. As far as I see it, my perspective of it, it is at resistance. That's one slight issue for the buyers. You're at the weekly resistance. However, it is strong bullish. All the majors have been obviously a big strong uptrend at the moment, off the back of the weakness of the US dollar. That's more in regards to a bit of uncertainty with the tariffs. Also a lot of to do with the Fed as well, and Trump being on the attack with the Fed, against the Fed. So that, I think, it's, you know, a little bit of uncertainty, spread uncertainty in the US dollar, and the majors, and obviously gold is benefit at the back of that. Daily structure is bullish. Once again, has tapped into resistance here to the left. 4-hour structure is bullish. Once again, we've tapped into resistance here to the left hand side though, so potential rejection zone. Just gonna mark in that resistance. We're gonna mark in this support, very clean traffic below it. Is there a catalyst though? Because it's very bullish. All right. Kind of want to argue that this swing point here is where the structure will flip. So that could be a catalyst below the daily low, and otherwise at this stage, if you're not already involved in a potential sell, I'd just be waiting for the buys. For the buys upon the pullback towards 133.70. above the high, we need to look to the left. And once again, there is the resistance, so it's going to be difficult above the high, to be honest. But I'd just be waiting to buy the pullback, let it flip some structure below 133 at 620, and probably at that point there, we'll make a deeper sell-off. Barman, appreciate it. Franco not in? Okay, fair enough, mate. Line Architecture, good morning to you. Thank you to all new followers. Why can I not delete someone's message? Anyway. Sylvia. Sorry, I just lost that question. Morning, where would be a good entry for a buy, roughly? Well, on gold at this stage, the way it's dropping, probably around that 34, 45 sort of region. So once again, not taking the sell, especially upon impulse, guys. Just not interested. If you're, willing to take it and you got the right confirmation, by all means, don't let me put you off. But through years of experience, this is 8 years of experience, I'd rather not tempt fate here on a very counter trend sell in what is a really strong uptrend. I'd rather just patiently wait for an option to buy it. Unless this closes bearish below 15. We get the retest and then potentially the continuation. I'm not even going to look for the limit order sell. Just going to play it safe. So closure below, retest, and potentially the continuation. That's the only point in time I may consider the sell option, because if this thing flips, and if we close back above the lowest point of this blue zone here on the 15, only for the following 15 to close back above it, then I'd be all about the buy options. I'll be looking for the buys based off that. FXM, what's your best advice to traders? Have a plan and a solid plan. I'm talking about not just for actual trade entries and all that. So I mean, plan is to everything from how you go about your day once it's time to turn on the charts and have a look at things, and just stick to that plan. Be very strict with it. Follow your rules, because they're there to protect you. I mean, it takes time to distinguish what rules suit you best and what sort of edge you may have on the markets. Take your time with it, be patient with it, and just stick to proper risk management. Don't over leverage, things like that. So cliche sort of stuff, but most importantly is discipline. Discipline is by far the biggest key when it comes to trading. I think it's often overlooked. I've always said we don't always need to be involved in the markets. We don't need to hunt trades. We let the charts prove to us why we should take a trade, why we should risk hard-earned capital on any given trade. So take your time with it, mate. It's not a get rich quick scheme, as a lot of people think. They follow the wrong people on social media. I'd pay more attention to the people who trade live, because we show you how it's done. We put ourselves out there live. We don't just post clips of winning trades. I post clips of both. When I take a loss, I don't hide from it, because I know my win rate is more than 80%. This year it's above that. 13 in a row on stream wins. It could, obviously I could have a bad stretch as well. Biggest losing streak I had this year was the beginning of the year, and that was 3 losses to start here. But again, didn't do anything, make any drastic changes or anything. Stuck to what tried and tested, and everything's flipped. think after that went on a really strong winning streak around, I think it was 12 or something. After that the first 3 losses. All good. Jay, do you recommend good app for trading gold? App? Well, I mean, I just MetaTrader through your broker. If you're a crypto trader, I think ByBit you can trade gold, if I'm not mistaken. Dean bought gold at 34.24 this morning, closed 34.86, was more of an impulse buy. Well, that's it, mate. At least you're trading with the trend, so that's a positive. Obviously, it's the stronger thing to do, and the more probable thing to do is to trade with the trend. 13.24. Sorry. 34.24, I think you said. Well, it is at a support. So kudos to you. And what I'm not just, you know, holding, securing a profit and enjoying it. Sorel, g'day to you. Bye. Not just yet. And no, I'm not selling it, not at the moment. Jay, does anyone use my trade app? No. Yep, ByBit. I'm pretty sure you can on ByBit. What other traders? Just any real live traders, again, because we're putting ourselves out there. I don't know any. I personally not affiliated, or I don't speak to any of the other live traders. But I'm not going to knock them because it's not as easy as it sounds putting yourself out there. I mean, you're opening yourself up to trolls, you take a bad loss, make a bad decision. People automatically think you're a shit trader. Alright, so again, we've got that little bit of structure potentially forming here on GJ. Got the resistance. Need to see now some strong bullish candles. So, I mean, preference for me would be for this candle to close a weak bearish candle yet again, to be followed only by a very strong bullish candle, which will close the M30 once again bullish with a low, and it'd be nice if it actually closed above to give us that higher high. And one of something that another confirmation that we've been seeing pretty much on the daily in these streams of late, that liquidity candle situation where you break the low only to close above the high. And what usually happens, or more often than not, is the next candle tends to rip straight up. So let's watch gold. Based on pure price action, stop loss is gonna be the major concern. Yeah, it's likely just gonna go, guys. I'd rather just let it do its thing. Stop loss is gonna be way too wide either way. Matt Punkin, you. Yep, all good. Hope you're well. Jay? Possibly, I don't know, man. There could be others, I'm not sure. But appreciate your support. Garuba, check gold 5 minute. Not sure what you want me to check, but yeah, it's breaking support, all good. Not interested in any impulse. Again, I'd rather miss it because I know it's in a big strong uptrend. It's likely going to give some options upon the pullback to buy it. Wow, EU broke the 115 handle. EU's been the strongest of all the majors. I think it's up year to date. Some 50% or something I heard. Oops, I'm way too far to left. Yeah, so let's just use that as the low. That's from beginning of January, basically. Well, it's up 13% roughly. But it's a huge move. It's a massive move from all the way back near parity to $1.15. Quickly looking at EU, it's also in a really strong uptrend, obviously. So I'd be looking for the buys. It's approaching some solid support, but it looks at here to the left hand side. Let's look at the 4 hour. It is a 4 hour level of support, so I'd be looking for confirmations to buy from the current level. Good thing is it's made some clean moves within the current range. So made it pretty clean move down here, clean move back up, consolidation, clean move back down. So what I'd be looking for just now is let it pop down to this support once again, where it forms a bit of consolidation at level. Wait a catalyst on a nice strong closure above it for a buy. You could also look for the single candle catalyst if it does tap into the support here, such as your bullish engulfing or break of a minor resistance based on a 15-minute time frame. So EU's at a decent level to start looking for options to buy it. Alright, this is good, GJ. Perfect. FXM, if I take a buy, or I will tell you. Free. Holding gold bars from 32.51. Happy for you, mate. This was anything other than a massive strong uptrend on gold, I'd be looking to sell it. Sell limit order. Back at the open of the low of this support, but I'm not going to do it on gold. So how are we going, guys? Anyone on YouTube, anyone currently running any positions, let me know. And even if gold gave us that little weak bullish pause just on this now on this 15-minute candle, still got looking at a 90 plus pip stop loss, which isn't really ideal for a scalp. Your target is, first potential level is just over 100 pips. Matisse, short goal with entry 34.78. 30. Okay, interesting. Nice one. Welcome. Well done to you. $34.55. Yeah, it's a realistic level. Stop loss break even. Nice one. At least you're not being greedy, because it isn't again, it's counter trend. So real? No, there's no. What confirmation is there at the moment? For me, there is nothing. Matisse, there's a proper divergence from 10th of the 4th. Okay. Believe you. Not gonna suss it out, but. We're talking about gold, because how can that be correct? Unless you mean something totally different by 10.04, that could be a code for something, I have no idea. But it's at all-time high, so I don't think that can be correct, to be honest. Once again, I like what I'm seeing on GJ here. All right, let's suss this thing out a little bit. Because we closed bearish engulfing, there's a good chance we're coming back down to 187.750 roughly. That could almost provide a quick scalp back down. There is not a great deal of margin. And in all honesty, I would prefer to buy it from the current level. But in terms of price action, it would make sense, to be honest. So we'll keep a little bit of an eye on that. What sort of margin do we have? All right, so once you account for spread, you're looking at about 14.5 pips roughly. Yeah, so I'd have to close engulfing, so below low of this bullish candle. It can't really create much more of a low low. If it does, you're eating into the margin. At that point there, you're best just to wait for it to potentially reset for the option to buy it. Just 477 buy gold. Yeah, I'll be waiting. I mean, I could look still potentially get involved in buys soon, but this candle will need to rip and pretty much close right up near the high of that previous candle. If it closed weak bearish, leaving this long wick into the range below, that would suggest to me it perhaps would grab a little bit more liquidity from the downside in order to have the volume and momentum to push through the previous daily high, or the current, talking about the current daily high, which is current all-time high. So once again, we'll keep a bit of an eye on that as well. Cities highlines, Google up today. Okay, fair enough. I think there's some big earnings reports for some of the the top few stocks, equities. Magnificent Seven. That's pretty sure that's what they call it. Google. I think Tesla's reporting today actually. So that will obviously have a big impact. I think from what I've heard, they're going to miss profit target by a fair way. So maybe expect some downside on the back of that.
Hey, good morning, man.
Franco, g'day, mate. How are you?
Hi,
How's it going?
Justin. Yeah, fine, thank you. I'm fine. So, and
That's
you?
good. All good, mate. All good. All good. How is your?
Oh,
How was Easter and everything? Okay.
yeah, everything okay, and was 2 times out with the whole family eating and
Yep.
for lunch. So nice, nice days. And you?
Nice one, mate. Yeah, all good, mate. Nothing special. Pretty quiet, which is it's all right. But yeah, glad to be back on the charts. So we
Yeah,
just
for sure. Yeah, you mentioned something, but I was on the way out. I sent the analysis to the
yeah, I had a
Discord.
look.
I was not in. For me, the issue was at the end. This was a very strong bearish candle at the end, which closed okay. But in this
Yeah.
state, I would wait for a 15-minute
Pause.
week, pause, something like that. And it was good, a good decision. At
Yep,
the end.
nice one. I mean, the other option is just to wait for it to create supporting it. So preferably a little bit lower down.
Yeah. So it's it's an uptrend in general at the end.
Yep.
So it was nice because it was bouncing back from this H4 resistance. And this was, for me, it was good for some sells at the end.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah, just have to obviously wait again for it to reset. But we'll see.
And you took some gold sells or
No, mate.
okay,
No, nothing.
so
Wasn't valid.
too bullish.
Yeah, not only that, but it didn't close. So for me, it had to close below, retest, and look for the continuation sell. It's just impulse, which I'm definitely not considering taking against a very strong uptrend. So yeah, nothing for me. But all good. Plenty of time.
Yeah. GG.
So we'll see.
Let's see. Correct.
Yep, JJ's looking okay. It just, I mean, I prefer it to buy it because there's more room to the upside. Like how it's starting to form a little bit of structure, potentially creating that higher low just now above some previous resistance here. So just need a nice strong closure, and that would be enough to suggest that could be ready to head back up. So yeah. Six, what are those zones? Can you explain quickly? I get its support and resistance. Yeah, so it's based off the 4 hour to begin. 4 hour, they're the gray zones. So basically look for the highest point of the resistance and obviously the lowest point of the support, and then I adjust it accordingly. On gold on the 30 and 15, I haven't bothered to do so for the time being. That's GJ, sorry. So GJ, I haven't bothered to do so for the time being. I can just visualize and see we've got some minor resistance. That's another level that we could potentially pull back to, where we could look for rejection for a sell. So just zones of liquidity. Everyone marks them in differently. Again, if I really want, I could adjust it to this point, so it's even neater, but I'm going to adjust it to the most recent support. And again, to these highs, reason why I haven't bothered marking zones in between is because there's no margin. So if it does close above 188.50, you're running straight into the 4 hour level here. So I want to know if, for now, where that 4 hour level begins, because that's where we could get a stronger rejection from. So yeah, I could now mark in another zone. About to close in the next 30 odd seconds. And now I have a clear entry point for some more highly probable buys, in my opinion. If price begins to close above that point there, and we're starting to pull away from the support. Not only that, we've formed first of all support, formed a high, high low. This is confirmed eventually, high, and that is the confirmation I mentioned before that I'd really love to see in order to buy GJ. Now, what I also did mention was if it closed bearish engulfing, the potentially could be some short-term sells back down. Hasn't quite closed engulfing. It's left quite a decent wick in either direction. So for me, I'm just going to wait on GJ because it also suggests a bit of weakness to the downside here. Still remaining above some previous resistance. So had we have closed bearish engulfing on the 30, let's just mark it in and go back to the 15. We would have been back below this resistance here. So that would have been the confirmation for me to look for that little potential cheeky sell back down to the lows here of support. Seeing I didn't have it, again, it suggests to me that potentially we are exhausting. We may respect this level, head back up. So if we do drop just now, it's all good. It's not, I didn't have the right confirmation to sell it. I'm just patiently waiting to see what happens at this support. And that's just how I go about it. I'm a very patient, disciplined trader. Now gold, again, it's just stop loss is massive. There's very risky counter trend selling it, especially with a 80 to 90 pip plus stop. Yeah, you're looking at close to 90 pips. Would it be valid? Let's quickly look at, get my fib tool out. Technically yes, but it's not A+. A+ for me would be a closure below to 38.2. That would suggest it's a very weak candle. May just be grabbing liquidity from the upside, and if we were to break the low of this candle on impulse, there's a good chance it would head back down towards that 34.50 region. I don't have that confirmation, so it's a little bit too strong of a close. So we could pop up, which is exactly what we're doing just now. I don't have any confirmation to buy it against a strong closure in the M30. So I'm just going to patiently wait. And the buy limit, sell limit based on the 30 to me is no, it's not valid. Because the previous 15 closed bullish, current 15 is a high, low, higher, high. Based off that, the counter probabilities are to the upside, so it could just rip through this zone. Where I would normally look for the sell limit would be back at the low of this zone. All right, sorry, TikTok. John, hello to you. Nick, why did you, hold on, where'd that go? Why did you enter on gold? Because retesting it. Why did I not enter on gold? For what's in a massive uptrend, I think that's quite obvious. So it's very risky counter trend selling it. And if I was just to sell stop, buy stop, anything, I mean, gold buy stops would work quite well at the moment. But if you're just purely basing on levels and just sell stopping it without a concern about how price approaches it and without any concern of the strength of the uptrend, then I would say about 8 times out of 10 you're going to get wrecked, completely wrecked. Because what it's going to do is trigger you into a trade. It's going to loiter about your entry, it'll trigger you in. Be bearish at that point, you're feeling good about it, and then just rips straight back up. And we continue on with the uptrend. So for me, there was no confirmation. No confirmation whatsoever to sell it. And I'm extremely disciplined, rule-based trader. I could not care less if I missed. You look back at that and think, well, I could have got some profits there. Do I give a shit? No, because it's not my trade. It's not something I was even considering. So I'm just patiently waiting. Hamzy buying JJ. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting. Got a decent entry point though. I don't have any confirmation just yet to buy it, so all good. Ali, morning to you. Any news? Nothing going on yet in the stream. If you're talking about schedule news, nothing today. This is tomorrow. Godfather, how do you know what session is? It's London session, my friend. So London is just open. You can, if you're not too sure, you can always come back. You can come down to the bottom of the page here on Forex Factory, and it tells you what sessions are currently open. So you're coming towards the end of the Tokyo session. It's in its final hour and a bit. Then you've got, obviously, London has just opened. And 10 PM my time is when New York session opens. Harry, new all-time high today. Yeah, well, it's already created one, but you need another one potentially. What website? That is Forex Factory. Jorgen, what strategy is this? This is my own, based off price action at predetermined levels on the chart. So I do my analysis on five different time frames really. Gives me a bit of an overall picture. The high time frames tend to sort of persuade my direction, I would say, more so than anything else. And I look to what sort of levels I have within them on the minor time frame, that being the 30, and also I look at the 4 hour. And then I just wait a simple signal within price action at one of these levels. So yeah, it's what works for me based off data I've accumulated over the past 8 years. So I could simply trade naked charts without any issue. I could, if it was myself streaming, or sorry, not streaming, trading by myself, I could easily just trade this and know exactly what I want to see at what level. Just a bit easier if you have a visual. At this stage on GJ, I'm preferring the buys above 188, 160, 165 roughly. And look at gold. We're gonna rip straight back up. Harry, Asian session again. Always said it. It's a crock of shit for people who say it has no volume. I mean, look at gold. Every time during Asian session, it creates a new all-time high. It's just, I mean, more often than not, it tends to happen. Gold really moves during Asian session. A lot of the time, London is where it consolidates, to be honest, on gold. NY makes the moves as well. It goes through cycles though, but Asian session, there is nothing wrong with it. There is plenty of volume during it. Godfather, all good. Harry, I'm just holding on to buys on gold from 34.68. Nice one. The real, look, it's up to you. I'm not buying it. I don't have confirmation. So once again, I need a signal with price action. We potentially could have it, but I need to wait a little while yet. So what I would really love to see just now is for this 15 to continue pushing, preferably close back above this support. And I'm not entering on a falling candle because quite frankly, if I'm not buying it within this current candle, I've missed that move. But what could potentially set up afterwards is we may get a little weak pause on the 15, creating some minor resistance back above this support low. And if that is to be the case, if we were to continue bearish, we don't have much of a need to break through that minor resistance. Based off counter probabilities, we'll break the low, likely head back down to retest the most recent low. However, on the flip side to that, that again provides me a potential entry point if we were to begin to break it, knowing we are in a big strong uptrend and the move prior to this pause was very strong bullish. If we were to begin to break it, I know it's a high probability we're coming back up to retest the all-time high and the current daily candles high. So that is something I could plan for, but I just need to wait for that price action pattern to present. I can't force it and just say stuff I'm just going to buy it. You know, backing that to present, getting in early. I need to wait for the confirmation. And again, fully aware, if it rips just now, I'm not in it and it's fine. There's nothing I can do about it. Once again, if that is the case, I reassess, plan again. It's all it's about. The starter prints, you reassess, come up with a new plan. No such thing as FOMO.
Justin, right now the pound pairs are going down, also GU, and for me, I did not really found an entry on that at the end. So at least on the I don't know, did you see some entry here on the break of this week?
Potentially. I mean, it's easier to say after the fact.
Yeah.
But that's a weak pause within the range, clean track to the left, long upper wick. Based off that, it would be a high probability, similar to what I just mentioned on gold, but in the opposite direction. If that was to present on gold and had the margin to the left, I would consider it.
Yeah, stop loss would be at the end at 3.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's the only thing, unless you use the entry candle.
But the M50, I don't like the M50, at least if it's close, a little bit different. I mean, a little bit stronger.
We're close. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So then maybe I would trust it a little bit more.
Yep. So you decide to stick to the 15 minute on that one. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's why you basically got to choose which time frame and just play it by that.
Would be a little another checkbox at the end for a better entry.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If you're not entirely convinced, then just wait. There could be options coming up from support as well. I think I'm out of the woods on TikTok as well, guys. The little ban warnings seems to have disappeared from my profile, so stepping up the game here on TikTok. Mikey Lavelle, the amount of TikTok traders trying to sell the biggest bull market in 20 years is unreal. What's that on gold? Well, it is in a big bull market. It's pretty obvious. I've been calling that for ages. For a long time, from more than, well, since I started streaming over a year ago. That it is in a massive bull market. If you're talking about equities in that, I'm not convinced. I'm not touching them. I'm not touching them at all. Staying well away. And at some point, good things are going to end. I mean, it's already had a big pullback. You're looking at NASDAQ all this year. From the all-time highs, it's had a significant drop. mean, for me, Nasdaq really needs to start popping back above this 1950, 60 sort of region, create that high, flip the daily structure back bullish, and then it could start reverting back into a strong bull trend. Again, I mentioned Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at a point where if it closes above here on the daily, then that could also start to rip back up a bit. But if it respects it, then it could end up heading back down 83 again, 82, and then if it breaks that, back down, we come to that below that 80k, close to that 75k region potentially. All right, let's see gold. How 15? Yeah, closed. Not the greatest. Closed still at a lot of that support. Long upper wick. I don't have any confirmation to sell it. I'm glad I wasn't tricked into taking a limit order sell. Like I mentioned, wasn't valid because of the 15-minute time frame. And had I taken it, I would have definitely taken a loss there. So again, just sticking to rules. Thank you to new followers. Sorry, Alfie, you're holding it by. Hopefully get my money back. Still, it's not the way you should really look at it, my friend. Because that means emotions are dictating your trading. Should be trade for trade. If you take a loss, it's a plan loss. It's you execute a trade according to your rules, your plan. You knew of the risk involved on the trade, so you need to accept that. You just need to reassess and see if you have another potential entry presenting. And then again, just trade it based off your rules, not wanting to get your money back, because that means you're hunting and you're trading based off emotions. It's just my take on it. Don't take it the wrong way. Harry, wow, £20 counts at 810. Doing something well. Doing something good. What I meant. Alfie, gold gonna go back down? Maybe. Diop, if you wish. I don't have any confirmation. Tina, I don't have any confirmation to sell. Pineapple with the watermelon emoji, I like that. How did I educate myself? Any specific content creator? Look, in order to educate myself, I did the hard yards. I obviously went on different social media platforms, mainly YouTube at the time. Came across a couple guys, you know, style sort of resonates. So I've become crypto, become swing trading, got absolutely pretty much. Look, it wasn't a scam, but I did lose a lot of money, which for basically what was just really simple stuff that you could find on websites on the internet, as far as price action patterns and things like that. It did involve signals and that. I was new, I had no idea. Didn't even know how to calculate lot size or anything at the time. And then I come across, obviously I got to understand swing trading a bit, and obviously risk management, that type of thing. Came across scalping. Wasn't aware at the time you can make pretty much the same amount of return in a matter of minutes, sometimes seconds, when it comes to scalping. And that suited my personality more. So again, I joined a master group when it came to scalping. Within that group, I learned very quickly, and after about a year within that group, I was hosting calls, and then after about 2 years, I was a mentor and coaching within the group itself. And that's how I started live streaming. Started live streaming a couple years back on YouTube, actually, probably about 3 years back, and moved on to my own thing last year. So a lot of time, patience, 8 years of hard work, almost gave up a few times in between. But again, I knew if I can just, what I do works, I just need to have the patience to let it play out and not do anything stupid. So stop. I was my own worst enemy. I was self-sabotaging when it came to my trading. But have a good trade or 2 good trades, stick to the plan with everything, take a loss and think, nah, can't have that. Go straight back in, get wrecked again. And it was just a ravel. It was 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But again, I just realized if I stick to some very simple rules, it will all take care of itself. You're allowed to lose. Saruba, good day to you. Welcome. Andre Tex, aren't you a guy that chased his tickety talk around? No idea what you're talking about. Kuba, better short or long? At the moment, nothing. I still prefer the longs on gold, but there's no confirmation to do so. Pineapple, all good. Nice one. Me too, isn't about technicals for me or strategy, only my mindset. Yeah, that's what it was for me. It's just a matter of controlling that. Nifty 7, still a buy gold at the moment. I still prefer to buy it. I don't have any confirmation to do so. I would consider the sells though if we did begin to pop back below, but it needs to close below. I need to have a decent stop loss. I need to have enough margin to test that 3450 region to begin. But the counter trend sell would make more sense now because at least we're forming some structure within the price action. Obviously create the all-time high, create a lower low. If we confirm that lower high just here, begins to approach the lows, there's a good chance of heading back down once again at 3450 sort of region. GJ, a bit difficult at the moment. I'll be on tomorrow from the usual time as well, guys. I'll be on for all the, well, should be on for all the news, but I'll definitely on earlier than I was today. Whether I stay on for PMI for the pound is another story. It's a little bit late into the what I'm normally into proceedings for me. But I will be on about an hour and 10 minutes prior to session open. So again, the win streak is 13 at the moment, and that's just based upon following some rules and not getting fooled into taking anything in between. It's a matter of patience. That's all it is. Most important part of trading. To the calculator emoji, you're guessing bias is bearish today. No, bias is bullish. So again, it's a really strong uptrend. Yes, it's making a bit of a pullback, but bias is definitely still bullish. Doesn't mean I wouldn't consider sells. But again, as options maybe lower down and buy it. Definitely not prepared to take impulsive sells. Now the 30 could close weak bullish, and that would normally give me a signal to sell it on the impulse. Again, if we were to use the fib just now, we're going to close below 0.382. That suggests it's a weak bullish closure. Having tapped into this previous level of support, that would also suggest that perhaps we'll just grab some liquidity from the upside in order to make the deeper pullback potentially down towards this 34.50, 34.45 sort of region. My issue is, yet again, it's stop loss. Stop loss is massive. It's 150 plus pips. Doesn't make life easy when you're trying to scalp it for a quick return. So, I mean, based off that, I mean, even if it was to make a tiny upper wick, you're still looking at a 45 to 50, 60 pip stop minimum. And it'll likely be bigger than that. It just makes it very difficult. We'll keep an eye on it. I will let you guys know if I'm going to take a little cheeky counter trend sell. I'll give you enough warning. So basically, we want to close below this horizontal. That will confirm a weak bullish closure. Then what we need is a small upper wick. It can't be a huge upper wick, because if that's the case, it's going to be massive stop loss. And based off that, we could potentially have some counter trend sells, but at least at this point, we've got a little bit of structure forming. So the low on IC markets 34.6506. So what's the spread like today? Oof. Pip and a half, which for IC markets is quite a wide spread, to be honest. Essentially, be looking at 34.60. 480. Stop loss doesn't make it easy. Matisse, GU and NU. Nah, G's tapped in target. NU. I prefer to buy it just based on where it's at, but it needs to pop back above this 61.5 sort of region. Don't want to miss gold if there is a potential counter trend entry, so I don't want to spend too much time looking at those pairs. So again, it will come down to the upper wick. It needs to first of all create one. It can't be a big one, because again, stop loss is going to be just way too wide for me to consider it. Ahmed, potentially a sell, but very risky counter. And Jay, it's just me of gold. Market been very unpredictable last 2 weeks. It's just been a massive strong uptrend, so it's just trending, making it, difficult to sell it, that's for sure. Just means you need to be patient, wait for an opportunity to buy it for the most part. Dean, how do you determine where you close positions? Again, it's all in my plan. It wouldn't really make much sense to only secure 10 in this particular circumstance, but that's usually where I would begin to secure profit. Otherwise, you look to the left and look for a realistic minor level. So 34.50 55, that sort of region, 54. All right, so the 30's closed weak. Now, how this is to be the highest point of the new candle. It can't push too far because already we're looking at 44 pips roughly. What I say, 64.80. It's already 53 pips. It needs to begin to reject. All right, so this is what I'm looking at. I haven't set the order just yet. I just want to make sure stop loss isn't out of this world. $60 pips. Pushing it, it's too far. It's too far, guys. I'm not going to roll for 60 plus pip stop. It's just not worth it. It's more than that now. It's pushed up. Yeah, forget it. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I got to stick to my rules. I'm not prepared to roll with a massive stop loss. So I just need to, again, to wait, reassess. Now it could be just simply waiting for the closure below. Perhaps a weak pause on the 15 here as well. JF8 34.90, your target for the upside. Yeah, fair enough. Being able to buy in GJP ridiculous. Not ridiculous based off where it's at. I mean, I'd rather buy it rather than sell into the support here. It's just going to be risky because you don't have any confirmation and there is a lot of strength to the downside. Yeah, if you're trading it purely based on level of maybe using a fib or whatever, then would be a decent entry point, but for me, I need to wait for confirmation. Let's see if we get the bullish engulfing 15. Still could get some buy options too. Joseph 34.94 was 2 hours ago. But I think in a buy, aiming for that level. Mr. Long, welcome to you, mate. EU. Oh, EU. Looking alright. It's at strong level of support here to the left. Bouncing off it. Let's have a look at the 30-minute. If closed back bullish, let's have a look at the hourly as well. Based off that, if this candle's to break its own high, there's a good chance it's going to head back up. It is in a uptrend. It is at a level of support to the left-hand side. So you've got plenty of reasons to look for the option to buy it. What I would suggest is, though, it doesn't necessarily need to continue to pull back, having left 2 long wicks, one of them bouncing into the lows of the support. I would suggest we grab liquidity in order to push back up. But I think, personally, if it began to flip and break its own high, using the previous candle's low as a stop loss would be a realistic target up the highest here, 115.470. Not a bad option on EU. Look where that 15 closed though. Closed below the resistance. We are respecting it with not much of an upper wick. Joseph, you think it'll go back up? Yeah, there's a good chance. It's in a big, strong uptrend, so could be buy options in just under 10 minutes. It needs to close engulfing. And the stronger the better. So we want to really start to push back above this support. Mr. X, what is generally the max pip stop loss that you would consider? Look, generally, I know on gold you need to accept that, especially when it's so much volume about on it, you're gonna have to accept a wider stop loss. Generally speaking, I really wouldn't want it to be more than about 50 pips on gold. Otherwise, it's just, again, because at that point, I just need to cut my lot size too much, and it's just not going to be worth it, to be honest. So rather not. As I do trade fixed lots as well, so it's my risk per trade floats. It's variable depending on, obviously, stop loss. That's why I don't want to have a massive stop loss going into position. GJ around a 30 would be usually 30-35 would be the max. But again, I am prepared to lower the lot size a little bit if it's a screaming entry signal, but the stop loss is a little bit wider than usual. But for the most part, I can find a way to get a bit tighter stop loss, whether it be using the entry candle or the previous M15 as opposed to the 30. Business on the lung, all good, not a problem, mate. GBPJPY running 20 minutes. 20 pips or 20 minutes. Nice one. If you're in a GBPJPY, again, well done if you guys are following your own analysis and your own plan. But for me, I just don't have any reason to buy it right now. This stage is still the exact same entry point, back above 188, 165 roughly. And liquidity candle form just here, which would have worked really well for some impulsive buys. That was very into proceedings, not while I was on stream, obviously, before it. Yeah, charts are a bit tricky at the moment. There's not much going on in regards to confirmations for me at the minute. For me, the best point of entry for a sell now has to be below 34.60, 61.20. At least now at this point, we've got a bit of structure forming on rejecting upon creating the all-time high, I should say. So since then, we've created low, trying to confirm the lower high just now. We won't really have that confirmation until we come back down, break the low, create low, close below it, and that to me becomes the entry point for the sells. Closure below, retest, and there's an option to take it back down towards 34.50 and 34.45 sort of region. Now for the buy option, you really want to see a nice strong bullish engulfing candle. You want it to close well above that bearish candle, well into this blue zone. And that could be enough to suggest we're heading back up, and this may just be a bit of a pause in price action. But until any of that happens, there's just nothing for me. And GJ, I just don't see any option to buy it until we still begin to pop above 188, 165. Otherwise, I'd be looking for it to pop up, and if it rejects and you've got the right confirmation to sell it and you had enough margin, stop loss was a massive, I'd consider selling it. And again, to the downside, you're at support, so it's going to be difficult selling it into the support. Just is what it is. Sometimes you need to let the charts create its first move and pick up the pieces afterwards. So yeah, I'm gonna call, guys. I'll be on tomorrow again, same earlier. I'll be on about now and 10 minutes or so before session open. Don't do anything stupid, trade safe, take care out there, a lot of volatility about. And members, I will catch you guys later on for pre-MY. Franco, I might see you there if you're about.
Yeah, I will be there.
No worries, man. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers, mate. To YouTube, TikTok, thank you one and all for joining. Appreciate it. Take care, trade safe, and I will catch you guys again tomorrow from about now until 10 before session open. Until then, guys, have a good one. Cheers. Bye, guys.